Awakening Serpent Genes Isolation. Do you ever wonder why your presence seems to overwhelm others, even when you're not trying? The question opens the door to the enigmatic world of the one with awakening serpent genes, individuals who, by their very nature, stand apart from the crowd. These are the ones who carry an air of mystery, possessing unique attributes that are both a gift and a curse in the realms of spirituality. Those with awakening serpent genes often find their path is one of solitude and misunderstanding. This journey into their world explores the delicate balance between their powerful essence and the isolation it inevitably brings. The first reason why one with awakening serpent genes finds themselves shrouded in solitude is rooted in the sheer intensity of their presence. When they step into a room, the air shifts, charged with an electrifying energy that receives attention without a single word spoken. The overwhelming presence of the one with awakening serpent genes, imbued with an almost otherworldly energy, does more than just fill a room. It alters the very fabric of interactions, weaving threads of intensity into every exchange. The energy, both magnetic and formidable, acts as a beacon, drawing in those around them with the promise of depth and authenticity. Yet, as individuals come closer, they are met with a force that transcends mere personality, a powerful essence that vibrates with the raw purity of the universe itself. It's this unbridled intensity that unsettles the core of those they encounter, igniting a visceral reaction that oscillates between awe and discomfort. The one with awakening serpent genes' aura, laden with the wisdom of ages and the strength of untold stories, is not something that can be dimmed or concealed. It shines forth as a lighthouse in the tumultuous seas of human interaction, guiding but also warning. People feel this energy and are instinctively drawn to its source, yet find themselves unprepared for the torrent of emotions it unleashes within them. The presence of one with awakening serpent genes doesn't just illuminate, it penetrates, reaching into the deepest recesses of the soul to awaken dormant fears and desires. This profound impact, while a testament to the one with awakening serpent genes' power, also fosters a sense of vulnerability in others, prompting a retreat into the safety of the familiar and the mundane. This retreat is not merely physical, but emotional and spiritual. As individuals grapple with the revelations sparked by the one with awakening genes' presence, the fear that arises is twofold. It's not merely the fear of the unknown, but a profound unease that comes from being in the presence of someone who embodies strength and depth to such an extent that it mirrors the voids within others. This involuntary mirror effect is powerful enough to expose vulnerabilities and insecurities and leads to an instinctive retreat. People confronted with the magnitude of such a presence find themselves intimidated, their own spirits quailing in the face of the one with awakening serpent genes' undeniable force. This is not a deliberate assertion of dominance, but a natural emanation of their being, a radiance so intense that it can isolate the one with awakening serpent genes, even amid a crowd. The result is a paradoxical existence, where the one with awakening serpent genes' profound capacity for connection and transformation becomes the very thing that engenders isolation. Thus, the one with awakening serpent genes walks a path of isolation. Their journey is marked by the deep footprints of those who have come close but retreated in fear. Theirs is a world where the light of their presence though bright, often illuminates the path that few are willing to tread. In this way, the one with awakening serpent genes' greatest gift is their intense, all-encompassing energy, which becomes their most profound challenge as they navigate a world that yearns for depth yet recoils at its touch. The second reason for the one with awakening serpent genes' path of solitude stems from their innate preference for the sanctity of solitude, or the intimate company of a select few, where the depths of their essence can be truly appreciated and understood. This deliberate choice is not born out of disdain for large gatherings, but from a profound recognition of the dissonance that often arises in such settings. In the cacophony of the crowd, the one with awakening serpent genes' profound vibrations resonating with the ancient wisdom and the silent whispers of the universe become muddled, and their sacred messages are lost in the superficial exchange of pleasantries. It is in this quiet solitude, or the warmth of close-knit circles, that their spirit can soar unencumbered by the need to dilute their essence, fit the molds of societal expectations. This discomfort and misunderstanding that bloom in the bustling environments of larger social settings stem from a fundamental mismatch in frequencies. The one with awakening serpent genes operates on a wavelength that seeks depth, authenticity, and meaningful connection, qualities that are often overshadowed by the shallow interactions that dominate large social gatherings. In these environments, their attempts to forge genuine connections are met with perplexity and unease, as their intensity and depth unsettle those unprepared for such encounters. The one with awakening serpent genes are acutely aware of this mismatch and feel the isolating walls of misunderstanding rise around them as their efforts to connect on a level that transcends the mundane are met with polite smiles that mask the underlying discomfort. This isolation is not merely a physical separation, but a protective barrier the one with awakening serpent genes erect around their essence. It is a conscious choice to preserve their energy and maintain their integrity of their spiritual path, understanding that the true value of their presence is best shared in environments where it can be fully received and honored. The one with awakening serpent genes, therefore, navigates the social landscape with a discerning heart, gravitating towards spaces and individuals that resonate with their own vibrational frequency. Here, in the sanctity of solitude, or the company of a few, they find the freedom to express their profound insights and share the luminous energy without reservation, knowing that here they are understood, valued, and most importantly, seen for who they truly are. The third reason the one with awakening serpent genes stands alone amidst the crowd is rooted in the intricate dance of fear and attraction they invariably incite in others, a dichotomy that weaves a complex tapestry of social dynamics around them. This duality is not merely a reaction, but a profound reflection of the human psyche's response to the extraordinary. The one with awakening serpent genes embodies a paradox, a beacon of light whose brightness both beckons and blinds, a mirror whose clarity reveals and intimidates. Their presence commands attention, exuding charisma that is as undeniable as it is unsettling, for it is imbued with the depth and authenticity that goes beyond the superficial allure of charisma. It is this very depth that pulls people in, an invisible thread that tugs at the soul, promising the kind of profound connection and understanding that lies at the heart of human longing. Yet, as individuals draw nearer, they are confronted with the full force of the one with awakening serpent genes' essence, a force so potent it threatens to shatter the illusions upon which many base their lives. This confrontation with the unvarnished truth of their own being reflected back at them through the one with the awakening serpent genes' gaze triggers a primal fear. It is the fear of being seen for who they truly are, of having the depths of their souls laid bare, of facing the shadows they've worked so hard to hide. This fear, potent and primal, often overrides the initial attraction, leading to a retreat into the safety of the familiar, where the complexities of such profound connection can be avoided. The result of this dichotomy is a labyrinth of social interactions, where the one with awakening serpent genes is both sought after and avoided, a figure of intrigue who is simultaneously revered and feared. This paradoxical existence creates a solitude that is both imposed and chosen, for the one with awakening serpent genes quickly learns that the depth of connection they seek and offer is too intense for many to bear. Thus, they find themselves walking a solitary path, not out of desire but necessity, as they navigate a world that is drawn into their light but daunted by the truth it reveals. In this solitude, the one with awakening genes becomes a solitary lighthouse, guiding those few brave souls who are willing to navigate the treacherous waters of self-discovery and transformation, while standing apart from those who choose the safety of the shore. The fourth reason that carves the solitary path of the one with awakening serpent genes with such poignant clarity is the profound challenge they encounter in forging authentic connections. This struggle stems not only from a lack of desire for companionship, but from the extraordinary depth and intensity that are the hallmarks of their being. The ones with awakening serpent genes, by their very nature, are beings of profound depth, their souls resonating with the echoes of ancient wisdom and truths that transcend the mundane. Their quest for connections is a quest for mirrors that can reflect this depth, for hearts that do not shy away from the intensity of their fire, but instead are drawn to it, willing to share in the light and warmth it provides. However, such connections are rare as the one with awakening serpent genes themselves. The rarity is not a matter of coincidence, but a consequence of the unique blend of strength, authenticity, and depth that defines them. To engage with the one with awakening serpent genes on a level that they crave and offer is to embark on a journey that demands vulnerability, courage, and a willingness to explore the uncharted territories of one's own soul. It is a journey that many, despite an initial allure, find too daunting to undertake. The intensity of the one with awakening serpent genes' presence, while a beacon of light, also illuminates the shadows many would rather leave unexplored, leading to a retreat into the safety of more superficial connections. This challenge in finding genuine understanding relationships leaves the one with awakening serpent genes walking a tightrope between the longing for deep connections and the acceptance of the solitude their intensity often necessitates. It is a solitude that is both a refuge and a prison, offering peace from the misunderstandings of the world, yet also echoing the silence of unshared depths. The one with awakening serpent genes, therefore, become custodians of sacred loneliness, guardians of a depth that few can comprehend, let alone reciprocate. Yet within this challenge lies the beauty of the one with awakening serpent genes' journey, for when these rare connections do occur, they are transcendent, forged in the fires of shared depth and understanding, capable of understanding the vicissitudes of life with strength that is unyielding as it is rare. These connections, though few, become the beacon that lights the one with awakening serpent genes' path, reminding them that even in a world that often feels too shallow for their depth, there are souls that can and will dive into the abyss with them, embracing the intensity of their essence in all its terrifying beauty. The fifth reason delineating the solitary journey of the one with awakening serpent genes is intricately tied to the realm of spiritual warfare, a dimension where battles invisible to the naked eye rage, with implications far beyond our earthly comprehension. This warfare is not fought with weapons forged from steel, but with more potent forces of authenticity, integrity, and truth, qualities that the one with awakening serpent genes embody in their very essence. Their presence in any space does not merely fill it, but transforms it, acting as a catalyst that ignites a spiritual alchemy, transmuting falsehood into truth, shadow into light. This transformation, while a beacon for those seeking the path of authenticity, becomes a threat to the foundations upon which inauthenticity is built. The one with awakening serpent genes' authentic presence serves as a mirror, one that reflects not just the surface, but the depths of those they encounter. In this reflection, the discrepancies between who we are and who we pretend to be are laid bare, exposing the facades behind which many hide. This exposure is unsettling, for it confronts individuals with the parts of themselves they've worked tirelessly to conceal, not just from the world, but from their own consciousness. The discomfort that arises from this confrontation often manifests as avoidance, or, in some cases, direct confrontation, as individuals react to the threat posed to their constructed selves. This spiritual warfare then becomes a daily reality for the one with awakening serpent genes, as their mere presence challenges the status quo, demanding authenticity in a world that often settles for less. They become the unwitting warriors of truth, their armor made of the unwavering strength of their convictions, and their shield of the deep, unshakable knowledge of their purpose. Yet this warfare takes its toll, for the one with awakening serpent genes often finds themselves standing alone on the battlefield, misunderstood by those they wish to free from the chains of inauthenticity. The avoidance and confrontation they face are not merely reactions to their presence, but a testament to the power of their essence to disrupt the illusions upon which inauthentic lives are built. Thus, the one with awakening serpent genes navigate a world where authenticity is both their greatest strength and their most isolating burden. Warriors in a spiritual battle that is as ancient as it is ongoing, fighting not for domination, but for the liberation of the human spirit from the confines of falsehood. The sixth reason the one with awakening serpent genes navigates their existence apart from the throng stems from a profound misalignment with societal norms and expectations. These unique individuals are often architects of their own worlds, their values and perspectives, carving out realms that stand in stark contrast to the status quo. This divergence is not a mere preference, but a deep-seated necessity born from an intrinsic calling to live in truth and authenticity. One with awakening serpent genes, by their very nature, are wired to challenge, question, and transcend the conventional, making them inherently at odds with mainstream culture. In typical social settings where conversations skim the surface of life's ocean, one with awakening serpent genes finds little to anchor their deep-seated interests and convictions. The mundane chatter of daily existence focused on the ephemeral and the material, offers no substance to souls hungering for depth and meaning. This disconnect is not merely intellectual but visceral, as one with awakening serpent genes feels an almost physical discomfort when forced to confine their vastness into small boxes of societal expectations. It's akin to asking a giant to shrink itself to fit into a doll's house. No matter how accommodating a giant tries to be, the fit will never be right, and the discomfort is inevitable. As a consequence of this misalignment, one with awakening serpent genes often find themselves retreating into the sanctity of solitude, or the company of a select few who have also glimpsed beyond the veil of societal norms. In these spaces, they're free to explore and express the full spectrum of their being, without fear of judgment or misunderstanding. These are the realms where conversations dive deep, where the currency is authenticity, and where the soul is nourished on a diet of philosophical musings, spiritual explorations, and the relentless quest for truth. In embracing their misalignment with societal norms, one with awakening serpent genes embodies the courage to live in accordance with their inner truths, serving as beacons for others who feel the same dissonance but fear the journey into the unknown. Their existence is a testament to the power of authenticity, a reminder that true belonging is found not in conforming to the world outside, but in honoring the world within. The seventh reason behind the one with awakening serpent genes' inclination towards solitude and select company unfurls from the unshakable call to a higher purpose. This calling is not a whisper, but a clarion call that resonates deep within their bones, compelling them towards a destiny that far transcends the confines of ordinary existence. It is a mission imbued with the weight of the soul's purpose, a purpose that often demands a profound commitment to introspection, meditation, and the relentless honing of their unique abilities and understanding. For the one with awakening serpent genes, this call to a higher purpose is as essential as breathing, an integral part of their being that cannot be ignored or dismissed. In the face of such a sacred mission, the cacophony of large gatherings and the shallowness of everyday interactions can seem not just unappealing, but antithetical to their profound journey. Engaging in activities or conversations that do not resonate with their deep-seated purpose feels akin to squandering precious time and energy, resources that are better allocated to purposes that align with their spiritual and existential goals. Therefore, the ones with awakening serpent genes find themselves naturally gravitating away from the hustle and the bustle of conventional social life, seeking instead the clarity and tranquility that solitude offers. This solitude is not a retreat, but a strategic choice, a fertile ground for the one with awakening serpent genes to cultivate their inner landscapes, to delve into the depths of their soul, and to connect with the universal energies that guide their path. It is in these moments of quietude and reflection that they receive insights, develop their abilities, and strengthen their resolve to fulfill their calling. The one with awakening serpent genes understands that to answer this call, they must be willing to stand apart from the crowd, to live on the margins of society, where the voice of their destiny can be heard most clearly. This journey, while solitary, offers a profound opportunity for self-discovery and growth, a chance to delve into the depths of their being and emerge with a strengthened sense of self. The key to navigating this path lies in the adoption of strategies that not only mitigate the pangs of isolation, but also celebrate the distinct qualities that set them apart. One foundational strategy is the cultivation of self-acceptance, a deliberate practice of acknowledging and valuing one's unique attributes. This practice involves a deeply introspective journey, one where the one with awakening serpent genes learns to listen to the whispers of their own souls, understanding that the intense energy and profound depth are not burdens but gifts. Through meditation, journaling, or creative expression, one with awakening serpent genes can explore the landscapes of the inner worlds, finding peace in the authenticity of their own company. This peace, born from self-acceptance, becomes a sanctuary, a place of strength from which they can engage with the world without losing themselves in it. Parallel to the journey of self-acceptance is the quest for like-minded individuals or communities. Despite the rarity of connections that can withstand the intensity of their presence, such souls do exist, other ones with awakening serpent genes. Perhaps those few who seek depth and authenticity with the same fervour. Finding these individuals or communities requires patience and the willingness to venture beyond conventional social circles, to places where spirituality, creativity, and deep philosophical discussions are not just welcomed but cherished. Online forums, workshops and gatherings centered around shared interests can serve as fertile grounds for these connections and understanding that is often elusive in everyday interactions. Moreover, one with awakening serpent genes can harness their isolation as a period of unparalleled creativity and spiritual growth, using their solitude to delve into practices that enrich their inner lives and expand their understanding of the universe, whether through art, writing, or spiritual exploration. These practices allow them to channel their intense energy and deep insights into creations that can inspire and heal others, turning their isolation into a wellspring of contribution. In embracing their uniqueness amidst isolation, one with awakening serpent genes embark on a journey of transformation, one where the very qualities that set them apart become their greatest strengths. It is a journey that demands courage and vulnerability, but it is also one that leads to the ultimate realization that in the depth of their solitude lies the potential for a profound connection, not just with others, but with the deepest, most authentic parts of themselves. This realization, once embraced, becomes a beacon of light guiding them toward a future where their uniqueness is not just accepted but celebrated. A future where they find their tribe, not by dimming their light, but by shining it more brightly than ever before. One where awakening serpent genes, with their unparalleled energy, serve as mirrors, reflectors of truth in a world that often shies away from the depths of authenticity. Their journey, though marked with solitude, is a testament to the strength and resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that in the quest for genuine connection and understanding, one must first embrace the fullness of one's own essence. The value of one with awakening serpent genes in society cannot be overstated, for they are the pioneers, the visionaries, the silent guardians of depth and authenticity. Their path, though fraught with challenges, is rich with potential for profound personal and collective transformation. As we conclude this exploration, it is crucial to reaffirm the importance of self-realization and acceptance for one with awakening serpent genes. Their journey towards embracing their uniqueness is not just a personal victory, but a collective boon. For in the authenticity lies the blueprint for a more enlightened and connected humanity. May we, as fellow travelers on this journey of self-discovery and growth, learn from their example and embrace the fullness of our own beings, recognizing that it is in our uniqueness that we find our truest power and purpose.